Welcome to our comprehensive guide on dividends, where we'll explore what they are, how they work, and how you can use them to enhance your passive income. Before we dive in, let's define what a dividend is. A dividend is a distribution of a portion of a company's earnings, decided by the board of directors, to a class of its shareholders. Dividends can be issued as cash payments, as shares of stock, or other property. Typically, dividends are paid out on a regular basis, such as quarterly or annually. Firms that pay dividends are often well-established and have a steady stream of revenue. Examples include companies like Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, and Coca-Cola. Let's pivot to a real-world example. Suppose you own 100 shares of a company that pays an annual dividend of $2 per share. At the end of the year, you would receive $200 in dividends. Now, an important metric to consider when evaluating dividends is the dividend yield. Dividend yield is a financial ratio that shows how much a company pays out in dividends each year relative to its stock price. The formula for dividend yield is simple: annual dividends per share divided by price per share. For example, if a company pays $4 annually in dividends and its current stock price is $100, the dividend yield is 4%. Investors often ask, how important is dividend yield? The answer is, it depends. A higher yield might be attractive, but it can also indicate potential risk. It's essential to balance yield with the stability and growth prospects of the company. Another key consideration is the dividend payout ratio. This ratio measures the proportion of earnings a company pays to its shareholders in the form of dividends. For example, if a company earns $10 per share and pays $2 in dividends per share, the payout ratio is 20%. Companies with consistent earnings often maintain stable payout ratios. On the other hand, companies with high growth prospects may have lower payout ratios as they reinvest earnings to foster growth. For instance, tech companies often have lower dividend payout ratios compared to utility companies. Dividends can also be a sign of a company's financial health. Regular and increasing dividends are often interpreted as a sign of strong financial health, strong earnings potential, and solid future growth. Let's now explore different types of dividends. The most common type is a cash dividend. When a company pays a cash dividend, it distributes a certain amount of money per share directly to shareholders. Another type is a stock dividend. Instead of cash, shareholders receive additional shares. For example, if a company declares a 10% stock dividend and you own 100 shares, you would receive 10 additional shares. There's also something called special dividends. These are non-recurring and are typically higher in value. They can occur when a company has accumulated a lot of profit and wants to distribute some of it to shareholders. Now let's discuss the timeline of dividend payments. There are 4 important dates to keep in mind: declaration date, ex-dividend date, record date, and payment date. The declaration date is when the company announces the dividend and its amount. The ex-dividend date is crucial as it determines who will receive the dividend. If you purchase the stock on or after this date, you won't receive the upcoming dividend. The record date follows, marking the day the company examines its records to determine its shareholders. Finally, the payment date is when the dividend will actually be paid out to eligible shareholders. Another important topic is dividend reinvestment plans, DRIPs. These plans allow investors to reinvest their cash dividends back into the company by purchasing more shares, often at no additional cost. For example, if your dividend payout is $50 and the current share price is $10, a DRIP would automatically buy 5 shares on your behalf. DRIPs can be a powerful way to grow your investments over time due to the power of compounding. By consistently reinvesting dividends, your portfolio value can increase exponentially. However, no investment is without risks. Companies can reduce or even eliminate dividends during tough financial times, impacting your expected income. It's important to diversify and not rely solely on dividend income. Now let's tackle some common questions. Question: why do companies pay dividends? Answer: companies pay dividends to return profits to shareholders and incentivize them to hold onto the stock. Question: How do dividends affect stock prices? Answer: generally, on the ex-dividend date, a stock's price will drop by approximately the amount of the dividend paid, reflecting that the dividend has been distributed. Let's review some data. Analyzing historic dividend yields. We can note companies like Johnson & Johnson and Procter & Gamble maintain consistent yields, while tech stocks like Apple have lower, but growing dividend yields. In conclusion, dividends are a powerful tool for generating passive income and can be a sign of company stability. However, it's crucial to evaluate the company's overall health and understand the risks involved. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into dividends. If you have any questions or want to learn more, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it helpful.